In this section, I will explain step by step what you should do when sourcing products from China. Let's get started. Step 1. Create your product specs. Before starting product sourcing, you need to sort out your product specifications. Jumping head first into sourcing without defining your product specifications is amateur importer's biggest mistake. It causes all sorts of problems. Your spec sheet includes at a minimum product description, the specific materials for the product dimensions, product colors, testing requirements for your market, label specifications and requirements, packaging specifications. Alright my friend, let me explain why do you need to define your product specs. Suppose you don't know your product specifications, packaging and labeling requirements, the compliance requirements to sell into your country, and the quality demands of your market. In that case, it is taught to determine which manufacturer is proper for you, making it extremely complex to import from China. Basing your purchasing decision solely on price and how the salesperson at the factory makes you feel is a recipe for disaster. Remember that whenever you are verifying suppliers and analyzing codes, you need to be comparing like for like in terms of specifications. Minor differences in materials, type of paint, dimensions and packaging can have a massive impact on price. Okay, let's look at how do you sort out your product specs. Research your product online, understand your target selling point and base product quality from that perspective. Get your hands on competitors' products that sell at your target price, and then pull apart their products so you know what components and raw materials they use. Learn from what industry leaders, competitor businesses and top Amazon sellers in your product category are offering regarding specifications, components, product certifications, and packaging and labeling standards. Read reviews online and see if there are problems with existing products that you can correct so that you are offering a higher quality product. Don't forget product compliance and labeling requirements. Defining specification is a lot of work, but it is crucial first step when purchasing from a Chinese supplier. Step 2. Sourcing the right supplier to import from China. When you import from China, you can source products from the suppliers in two ways. The first is going alone or importing from China directly from the supplier. The second is to use a sourcing company. I will explain various methods of finding the right supplier in China later in this video. Then you keep watching. Step 3. Avoiding the wrong sourcing agent to import from China. Knowing the types of agents to avoid will help you determine the right sourcing agent for your business. I will give you some guidelines that will make your search easier. Check out the sourcing agent's website. Find sourcing agents with websites written in professional and compelling English. Such sites indicate an awareness and willingness to engage with English-speaking companies. They are likely to be easier for you to communicate with too. Hands-on is best for quality control. Avoid sourcing agents who aren't responsible for their quality control checks. If they outsource their quality control, there are more likely to be errors in the process. Seek sensible kickback-free commission rate. If a sourcing agent proposes a 2 to 3% commission, chances are they are creaming of money from their deals. A low commission rate doesn't equate with a reliable business model for a sourcing agent. Credible agents cannot afford to trade with low commission rates. Instead, expect to pay around 10% in commission. In addition, researching a company's reputation via the internet is now relatively straightforward. As a result, corruption is less widespread than previously, but it is still a problem. Third-party outsourcers can also mean more opportunities for corrupt dealing. You will wind up paying more due to the costs from backhanded deals and hidden fees. QualityInspection.org reports that 90% of sourcing agents get kickbacks from companies recommended to their customers. LinkedIn helps you find the perfect sourcing partner. From LinkedIn profiles for sourcing agents that you are researching, here you can investigate further the size, success, and credibility of the companies you are considering. A credible sourcing agent will have a LinkedIn presence. Get it in writing. The sourcing agent should be willing to sign a written agreement covering every step of sourcing process. Don't deal with them if they want to forego a written contract at any stage. Reliability beats novelty every time. Seek out long-term sourcing providers rather than newer companies. The longer a sourcing agent has been successfully trading, the more reliable they are likely to be? Are their customers happy? If a sourcing agent is unwilling to provide testimonials, they are unlikely to provide you with good service. The agent should facilitate testimonial follow-ups, ensuring that the recommendations are legitimate. In addition, research agency reputation for yourself too. Browse the internet for references to sourcing company outside of their website. Find companies outside China willing to share their experience with your proposed sourcing company. Avoid sourcing companies that cannot provide a license and license number. Ensure that the appropriate certification is in place. Chinese sourcing companies' rules are strict in this respect. Experience is everything. Make sure that your sourcing agent is familiar with your line of work. An agent experienced primarily in electrical goods will not be suitable if you want to source clothing, for example. Equally, a clear description of the work you require will help avoid problems too. Step 4. Ask Chinese suppliers for codes. Correctly formatting your email and initial request for code is crucial. It dramatically increases the response rate from factories and will simplify the tracking and evaluation of suppliers. Your email should demonstrate that you are a professional operation and a potential long-term factory customer. Your email should be concise with clear call to action. Your email should use the correct terms for components, raw materials, and testing requirements. Your request for a code should contain a simple product spec sheet as an attachment. Step 5. Creating a list of potential suppliers. Typically, I begin by sourcing 10 to 15 suitable suppliers. I then narrow down the list to the best 3 to 5 suppliers based on price, quality, lead times, factory size, and compliance ability. I suggest focusing your attention on the best 3 to 5 suppliers, as any more than that makes it difficult and expensive to arrange samples and to inspect the factories. Step 6. How to verify your Chinese suppliers. Before choosing which factory will manufacture the goods you will import from China, performing a quality control check on the best suppliers is crucial. When verifying if a supplier is right for you, consider these questions. Question number 1. Can the factory produce my product? Do they have an experience in this product area? Chinese factories tend to say yes to most things. So when you ask a Chinese factory whether they can manufacture a product to your requirements, you rarely get an answer of no. If you have doubts, ask for evidence to back up any claims made by the factory. Question number 2. Are they a trading company or a manufacturer? Trading companies are easy to spot. They are probably a trading company if they sell many goods across different product categories. Question number 3. Can you communicate effectively with the manufacturer? If the factory is terrible with communication, you probably don't want to be dealing with them. Imagine when something goes wrong with an order and you are waiting weeks for an explanation. Question number 4. Where is the factory located? China is a massive country. Suppose you are purchasing furniture from Chongqing, for instance. In that case, you should factor in the extra time and costs needed to deliver your product to the nearest port. You also need to be buying your product from suitable regions. The factory should be close to Shenzhen in almost every instance if you buy electronics. Question number 5. How big is the factory? Working with a factory that cannot manage your order volumes is no point. They will end up outsourcing the production to another factory, often a worse factory. Likewise, if you are buying in small quantities, don't try and buy from a West Chinese factory, as you will not be an important customer for them. Expect to have your order pushed to the back of the line when a big order comes along. Question number 6. Does the factory have the appropriate certifications for my product? Unless you want to pay for the test on your product, always work with a factory that has your required test certifications. A word of caution, many factories will fake these documents. If unsure, you can email the test reports to whichever firm conducted the test, usually Intertek or SGS, and they will confirm if the reports are fake. Question number 7. What markets does the factory sell into? Factories that make products for the domestic market and markets in the Middle East and Africa tend to produce at lower quality levels. Question number 8. Do they have an export license? It would help if you avoided suppliers that don't have an export license. Question number 9. Is the factory interested in my business? Cross them off the list if they are not interested in your your business? Simple. Question number 10. Is their pricing competitive? If their pricing is nowhere near the mark, cross them off the list unless you can back yourself is to negotiate to a workable price point. Question number 11. What are their lead times for mass production? There is often a considerable variance in production lead times between manufacturers. If quick lead times are essential to your business, then factor this into your product sourcing decisions. Step 7. Visit the best 3 suppliers. The best way to verify if a supplier is suitable when importing from China is to visit their factory. By visiting the factory, you can eyeball the equipment, the factory's capacity, the quality of the factory workers, the sample room, and the factory's internal quality control systems. It also allows you to negotiate pricing directly with the factory boss. This step is crucial for established businesses looking to import from China, and you should not skip it. If you cannot afford the time to travel to China, you should plan for a third party to inspect your list of potential suppliers. Step 8. Request a sample before you import from China. At a minimum, I suggest arranging samples from 2 best suppliers from your shortlist before importing from China. Be diligent when you are checking samples from your suppliers. Unfortunately, most people do not care enough about the sample checking process. Pay attention to the look, feel, dimensions, function, performance, and packaging of your product. I would also suggest having more than one person check the samples in case you have missed a key detail. If your product requires mail order packaging, request that any sample sent to you is sent with the proper mail order packaging that will be used on your order. You should then conduct drop tests on the product to ensure the packaging is sturdy enough to handle being transported to your customers. Drop tests are an excellent way for e-commerce sellers that import from China to simulate their package mailing and identify future potential issues. Suppose the factory they cannot match your requirements. In that case, the factory is probably unsuitable unless you are willing to compromise on your needs. A couple of side points. It is common to have samples redone and redeveloped to reach your desired outcome. Don't write off a factory too quickly if the first sample is not perfect. If you are developing a new product and samples are expensive to produce, it might be impractical to arrange samples from 2 suppliers. Instead, please focus on the best supplier and place a sample with them. Alright my friend, in the next chapter I will share best ways to import from China. See you there.